What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And today, I'm going over another mock draft, but it's to be a little bit different. It's about what I would do if I was the GM of all 32 NFL teams. It's be fun. It's a two-round mock as well because this draft class is really deep, phenomenal talent all around. And let's get right into it, man. What's the first pick? The Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young from Alabama. Bryce Young's the best quarterback in this year's draft class, man. The only negative with him is his height and weight, dude. And it's a huge thing in the NFL because you're competing against the best players in the world, but the most athletic. They're getting bigger, they're getting faster, and all that stuff, man. So the real question is just as like longevity, excuse me, longevity of his career. But from all that, I really believe Bryce Young will have a phenomenal career. Hopefully, he will be able to lead his team eventually to a championship one day. I really hope he does. CJ Stroud going number two to the Texans. The Texans, you need to take a quarterback. They're not like right now. They're kind of in the middle. Do they want to trade back? They have a defensive coordinator as a head coach. So do they take the best defensive player on the board? But I'm gonna go with C.J. Stroud because in this year's, not this year, but in the modern football era or the era we're in right now, you need an elite quarterback to have an elite team. To have a team that's gonna reach the Super Bowl and reach all those goals you want. Reach the playoffs. To be competitive, you need an elite quarterback to achieve all those. And number three is where the NFL really, not the NFL, the draft. The draft really starts. Um, the Cardinals have options to trade down. Uh, you, the Colts might have to trade up, and we don't know how far the Cardinals are going to trade down. This really kicks off the draft. Because there's so many varieties that could happen from the third trade. But there's no trades in my mock, so that doesn't even matter. So I'm gonna go with Will Anderson, the Terminator, the best edge rushing defensive player in this year's draft class. Phenomenal talent, and yeah, he's just good. He's really good. Anthony Richardson from Florida. The Colts most likely are gonna have to trade up for Anthony Richardson, but right now they don't have to do that. So Richardson to the Colts. The reason why I'm doing that is because the coaches we have the offensive coordinator from Philly. Obviously had Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts improved over the years, and I believe Richardson can do the same thing. Um, just hopefully Richardson could either replicate what Jalen Hurts did or improve off of that, because Richardson is a phenomenal athlete. He showed at the combine how athletic he is. Jalen Hurts didn't run a 40-yard dash at his pro day or anything, so we don't have any numbers to compare them. But style of play, Richardson is that guy. Jalen Carter goes to Seattle. Jalen Carter is probably the best defensive player this year's draft, but due to all those personal issues off the field, he drops down he drops off the board, a little bit. And the Seattle Seahawks, like I said in the other videos, is probably the best scenario for him. Um, Seattle Seahawks is probably the best scenario for Jalen Carter because of Pete Carroll, because of the culture over there, and they could probably help him with all his personal stuff over there in Seattle, and it'll be a phenomenal fit for Jalen Carter to play in Seattle. Alright, this is my wow selection right here. Hooker going to the Lions at number 6. Hooker is my third best quarterback in this year's draft. If the Lions want to be truly a playoff team, They need a quarterback that is long term. Hooker is that guy. Goff only has one more year on his contract. I highly doubt you re-sign him, and you won't have an opportunity to get a good quarterback like Hooker. You know, because if you're gonna be a playoff team, you're gonna be in 20, 20 range, all the way down there. And the only way you're gonna be able to do that is by giving up like a key piece or something like that. So Hooker is a phenomenal quarterback. I was selecting with the number 6 pick, and I'm thinking long term. And then Witherspoon, man, I was debating Witherspoon or Porter for the 7th pick right here. I'm gonna go Witherspoon because I want a playmaker corner, a guy who has instincts, who has that twitchiness to read plays and make plays off of them. Get those interceptions. And then for the Falcons, man, I went tackle. And just did the free agency. They re-signed their guard, their left guard, and they re-signed their right tackle. They have Matthews. He's like 33 years old. I don't want to say he's on the verge of retirement, but he is on the older side. And I would get a young stud from Northwestern. I'm not even gonna try to say his name. Peter Johnson from Ohio State, man. He's a second-rated best tackle. The Bears are kind of forced here. They might trade back if this scenario does happen. Most likely won't. But if they don't get the guard or the tackle they want, they'll probably be forced. I mean, I'm the GM. My bad. I'm for sure picking the tackle because Justin Fields was getting murdered out there. Johnson's a second-rated tackle, and yeah. And then for the Eagles, for the playoff, yeah, because the Saints didn't make playoffs. So like the first game of the playoffs, or once playoffs started, I was like, oh, the Eagles are gonna go tackle because Lane Johnson's gonna retire and all that stuff. Kelsey's gonna retire, but they all came back, and I think Lane Johnson might stay a couple years, and Kelsey's gonna retire after this year. So I'm going edge, especially when the two tackles are top tackles are gone. I'm going edge. I'm going with Wilson. He has the length. He has the power. He's like a do-it-all guy. Um, he'll learn from Brandon Graham, Cox, Sweat. Like you just have so many veterans over there to learn from, and Nick Wilson will be a phenomenal fit for the Eagles. Going Smith Njigba from Ohio State to Tennessee Titans. Tennessee need receivers. Njigba is a slot guy. He can play outside as well, but he's primarily a slot guy. You have Trayvon Burks, anyways, who is an outside guy, big body receiver, and yeah, I think Smith Njigba and Burks is, the scenario you want as a Tennessee fan. Yes, they need a lineman, but I think receiver is the best. Quarterback, if you like selecting a quarterback would just be the worst selection for the Tennessee Titans. And like why? You don't have an O line, you don't have a receiving core. The only thing you got is really Derrick Henry, and guess what? You want to trade him. So you just gotta go with the best player available. That's Jackson Smith at Jigba, and you get your slot receiver. You get an extra weapon. And then for the Texans, I'm going Johnston from TCU, big body receiver. He has length. Um, he's a playmaking receiver. He truly is a playmaking receiver. A little bit of D hop, but you got to get your quarterback a receiver as well. Texans don't necessarily have that it guy on offense. Well, in this mock, I'm adding C.J. Stroud. I'm getting Johnston to go along with him. In the Jets, I'm going Christian Gonzalez to pair up with Sauce Gardner. Get a duo corner right there. Two elite long island, you know, lockdown safety. For the Patriots, I'm going Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. Um, he's a raw prospect, but I think the Patriots could make him into something great, man. And then for the Packers, I'm going tight end. You're gonna start Jordan Love this year. You gotta give him a safety blanket and a guy who could help on in the running game and in the passing game. Michael Mayer. So Dalton Kincaid from Utah to Washington. I was a little debating about going corner, but I'm going tight end because they just don't have an elite tight end. They have decent receivers. They have Doxson now. They also got Scary Terry's a really good receiver. Doxson's a solid receiver. Curtis Samuel and Dalton Kincaid will be a phenomenal weapon to add to that firepower. And then for the Steelers, I'm going Kinsey from Pittsburgh. He's staying in Pittsburgh. His comp is literally Aaron Donald. To me, you can't pass up on that. And he obviously has that speed inside. He's pretty strong. And yeah, he's inside pressure guy. And then for the Lions, I'm going corner right here. Kevin Porter Jr. lockdown corner. Can't pass up on him at this point. And then for the Bucks, most people are mocking edge rushers and other stuff like that, but I'm going line. The Bucks line has been demolished. Like they've been slowly getting worse every year. The only, you know, bright side is really Jensen, but Jensen's coming off an injury, but Jensen's still a beast. And then you got Wilf, what's his name? The right tackle. But I'm gonna go with Jones from Georgia. He's a run blocking tackle. Could probably move him to guard if anything, but you gotta start the run game, especially for the rookie quarterback. I'm not rookie quarterback, but a young quarterback in Kyle Trask, or just to help Baker Mayfield out, you know. And then for the Seahawks, we're going Jordan Addison. You gotta have at least three really good receivers in this league, in this era of the league, you know. So Jordan Addison, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf will be phenomenal for Geno and whatever quarterback they have behind Geno. Because Geno Smith is not the long-term answer. They're gonna draft a quarterback as well, I believe. And yeah, I want Jalen Hyatt right here because I want a deep threat for I was gonna say Jalen Hurts, but for Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has an elite arm, man. He really has a rocket on him. I'm gonna get him a guy that could go get it, you know. And then Dante Banks, man, he just reminds me of a straight up Raven corner, dude. Lockdown corner. Ravens play single high. Banks is a big time fit for the Ravens. And then for the Vikings, I'm going Simpson, man, from Clemson. And I want a middle linebacker for them. Um, Most people have them mocking the quarterback right here, you know. But I think the Vikings are gonna get a quarterback in the third round. I don't see them drafting a quarterback in the first round unless it's Hooker, which it very well could be because I feel like not that many people are high on excuse me, not many people are high on Hooker like I am. So he could very easily fall to the Vikings at 23. But I'm going middle linebacker, a speedy one, guy who can run down the field and everything. And for the Jaguars, I'm getting that interior pressure from Brian Brees from Clemson as well. Back-to-back Clemson guys. And the Chiefs game really showed that where, what's his name? Mahomes, he was hurt. His ankle was hurting. He couldn't, like, run out of the pocket or anything. And he was just sitting in the pocket against the Jaguars. And they just didn't have that interior pressure. I think Brian could change that. For the Giants, Zay Flowers, I've been mocking receiver for them for a while now, and seems like everybody's barely catching on to this. Zay Flowers should be a phenomenal receiver for the Giants for the years to come. Now the question is Daniel Jones going to be able to use his receiver in Zay Flower? You know. All right, the Dallas Cowboys, man. They might draft Robinson for this pick, but for me, I'm gonna go Washington because Washington helps in the run game. He absolutely deletes people in the run game. He's a tall guy, long arms, contested ball catcher, great after the catch. I think he just impacts the game more, you know. Even though Robinson is a phenomenal back, man, that's tough. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. But yeah, I'm gonna go Washington right now. And then Toa for the Bills. I believe the Bills need a speedy linebacker. Not necessarily a guy that can like come down and hit, but Toa is a mixture of speed and power. The Chiefs usually are faster than the Bills. I mean, they're faster than majority of the teams, but for the Bills, the speed was the main issue on defense for them. The Toa could not necessarily prevent it, but reduce it. You know, Luke Musgrave to the Bengals. Bengals really need a tight end. Musgrave is a phenomenal one. Great after the catch, playmaker. His comp is literally Kittle, so I wouldn't pass on that if you need a tight end. Miles Murphy. I don't think he drops his far, but he does in this mock. Miles Murphy is a phenomenal talent. Has great get off, and yeah, he probably doesn't drop this far, but it is what it is. And then Robinson from Texas, my bad, to the Eagles is absolutely a perfect scenario for the Eagles. They draft one of the top edge rushers, and then they get a running back. Literally, probably like the fourth ranked prospect on one of those guys' draft draft boards, but the running back position is really um, hurting right now. You know, not really valuable at this time or at this point. Not, never. Noah Smith from Georgia, phenomenal talent. Did a crazy workout at the combine. Absolutely fast, huge guy. I'm pretty sure someone's gonna take a shot on him. You know, earlier in the draft. But for me, he falls to the Chiefs. Chiefs need an edge rusher. They let go of Frank Clark. They do have what's his name, the Purdue guy, but they still need another guy, right? So Noah Smith is that guy. Dang, I almost forgot to mention this is a 2 round mock. My bad, a 2 round mock. So the Steelers, man, I went for the guard from Florida. Um, I went with the guard because I want to get the run game going for the Steelers. Because once you get the run game going, Harris is obviously their best offensive player. But once you get the run game going, it helps the young quarterback and what's his name, Pickett, to get going. So that's why I picked the guard right there. Wright from Tennessee, pass blocking is a right tackle. You just drafted a young quarterback. You gotta keep him protected. So get the tackle off the board right there. Cardinals take Clark Phillips, or I take Clark Phillips right there. I don't know, he just feels like a Cardinals guy. Watch the tape, looks phenomenal. Yeah. And then Ringo goes to the Colts. Ringo's out. He's a solid corner. I think the Colts obviously need a corner after trading away Gilmore. I think Ringo's that guy right there. Then I went Harris from Oklahoma. The Rams' offensive line is awful, so that's an easy answer right there. Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State had a phenomenal combine. He just he's just a Seattle guy. He just reminds me of a Seattle guy. I think the Seahawks truly would pick him at like at number 37, and they kind of do need him. So that's my selection right there. Forbes from Mississippi goes to Seattle right there. Sanders, the Raiders do need a middle linebacker. Sanders kind of gives me that like the style they want. So Sanders right there. And Cam Smith. Cam Smith, this would be a perfect scenario for the Panthers to get Smith to pair up with J.C. Horn. I know that they literally have like so many corners on the roster, but I think Cam Smith will beat out all those other ones. Josh Downs to the Saints. Uh, I like this pick because man, you get who's the quarterback? Derek Carr. You get Derek Carr, a playmaker, man. And this guy's great after the catch. He always finds a way to get open as well. And I think he'll be a phenomenal fit for the Saints. And then Jones from Ohio State. This guy can play guard, or tackle. And the Tennessee Titans, they need help in every position on the line. All right, the Jets, man. I don't think the Jets will have these picks because I think they will. I really believe they will trade these picks to get Aaron Rodgers, and usually teams don't keep back-to-back picks anyways. So I really just use Byron Young for number 42, but Matthews I literally just threw him in there. So yeah, I don't think the Jets would keep 42 and 43 because they would want Aaron Rodgers. But then again, the Packers do pick, you know, 2 picks away and stuff like that. So will the Packers trade for that? Probably not, to be honest. Now I'm thinking about it. I didn't know they picked at 45. Holy crap! If the Packers trade Aaron Rodgers for 42 and 43, it would be early in the draft, and then they would trade those picks to either trade up in the draft in the first round, or to use those to gain more picks. I don't know, but usually teams don't keep back-to-back picks. So for the Falcons, they get Will McDonald. This guy's a raw prospect as well. Very talented, but he needs some development. He needs to develop to be great in the league. Brian Branch, he's the best safety in this year's draft class. Safety position is not that deep. Um, they have him going first round. He could very easily drop into the second because, like I said, the draft class or the safety position is not that deep, but he is for sure the best safety in this year's class. And I go with Smith from Michigan. Just upgrade that D line for Patriots. I got Cody from North Dakota. The Washington actually drafted a guy from North Dakota last year as well, but this guy's gonna be the guard. And yeah, Carter from Army, long, tall, edge rusher. Uh, Another guy that needs to be developed, but I think the Lions could really turn him into a star. White from Georgia Tech, man. This guy's a beast. Truly a first round talent. They have him mocked in the first round. He could very easily fall though, but he is a first round talent, and pairing him with TJ Watt would be phenomenal. Sam Laporta, Laporta um, from Iowa, man. He's a solid all around tight end. He can really do it all. Byron Young, beast of a. Is he a DN or D? I think he's a DN, but he's a beast. I watched some of his tape. He's really good. I like Byron Young. Schmidt from Minnesota, man. He can play center. He can play guard. Seahawks, why not upgrade that line? And then Tua Poluto. I might be saying that wrong. My bad. From USC, D tackle. He gets that interior pressure. He's phenomenal. He has power too. That guy's crazy power. I draft him with the Bears. And Gibbs, man, they're trying to get rid of Austin Eckler. Me personally, I would pay the man, well deserved, for Austin Eckler. But Gibbs from Alabama, he's a really good running back. Running backs these days are undervalued, but they do put in that work. So I feel bad, but that's what it is. Antonio Johnson from Tennessee, or not Tennessee, Texas A&M. Uh, the Lions, who did they have last year? I don't know, but they have Kirby Joseph as the free safety, and I think Antonio Johnson will be a phenomenal strong safety to pair with them. So that's why I went Johnson right there. DJ Turner from Michigan, super fast corner. I watched his tape. His tape looks phenomenal. Jags in the corner desperately. I think he's their guy right there. Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame, phenomenal guy, edge rusher. He's athletic, and Giants get him right there. Zach Charbonnet from UCLA, the running back. The Cowboys could very easily go a different direction. Oh man, yeah, you very easily go a different direction right there. So Joe Tapman, man, Tapman, Tipman, I don't know, Tipman, yes, Tipman from Wisconsin. Wisconsin always produces line bills they need protect Josh Allen and not let him play hero ball. Sidney Brown. Um, the Bengals recently let go of Von Bell. Sidney Brown will be a phenomenal replacement for Von Bell. And then the Bears, they have a couple of picks in the second round. They might trade one of them as well. Garrett Williams from Syracuse is a slot corner. Um, he'll be a phenomenal pick. And for the Eagles, I'm going Cameron Young from Mississippi State. Has phenomenal reach. He I think they switched him out a lot at Mississippi, and he could literally play the same role over there at the Eagles with Davis and Cox. Cox will obviously be the starter. He is getting a little older, and Davis, he has not ever played what's it called? I don't want to say like a full game or full series, whatever. He always like switches out. I think Young would be a perfect person to switch out with them. And then for the Chiefs, man, Rashid Rice, big body receiver. Uh, the Chiefs recently let Juju Smith-Schuster walk, and I think Rashid Rice will be a perfect replacement for that. Obviously, the Chiefs will probably want a deep threat of a style receiver, but Rashid Rice is a big body route. I don't say route running because he hasn't really displayed it in game, but I believe he could do that instead of being a go and slant guy. There we have it. 2-round mock draft right there of what I would do if I was a GM for every single team. Let me know what y'all think, and hope y'all have a wonderful day. And peace, man.